Let's start with the raspberry confit. For this, I use frozen raspberries, pour them into a saucepan, add about a teaspoon of sugar, just enough to bring out the sweetness. Place it over low-medium heat. Give it a stir now and then so it heats evenly and doesn't stick. Once thawed, just mash the berries until you get a smooth, jammy puree. While the raspberries are thawing and heating up, I mix the starch with water. It is very important to mix the starch well until it is completely dissolved so that there are no lumps. When the raspberry puree comes to a boil, add the starch mixed with water in one go. When the raspberry puree comes to a boil, add the starch mixed with water in one go. Pour the finished raspberry confit into a bowl. Look how thick and rich our filling turned out to be. Cover with plastic wrap, pressed right on the surface. Let it cool, then refrigerate until fully chilled. Meanwhile, let's move on to making the meringue. For this, we will need 6 egg whites. It is very important to separate the whites from the yolks as carefully as possible, so that not a single drop of yolk gets into the whites. I use a little life hack and first separate each egg white into a separate small bowl. And only after I am sure that the egg white is clean, I pour it into a common container. This way, if the yolk suddenly breaks, it will ruin only one egg, and not all the egg whites at once. It is also important that all dishes are clean and grease-free. Begin beating the clean egg whites without any additives. Beat until fluffy, forming what is known as beer foam, so that no liquid egg white remains at the bottom of the bowl. Then add powdered sugar. You can also use sugar, but in this case, you will need to beat it longer. First, beat on low speed so that the powder does not scatter. When the powder is mixed into the egg whites, increase the mixer speed to maximum. Beat the meringue until stiff peaks form. This can take up to 10 minutes, but focus on the condition of the meringue rather than the time. To check it, just flip the bowl upside down. If the meringue stays in place and the peaks hold their shape, you're good to go. Now for the final touch. Add cornstarch and a pinch of citric acid. Carefully mix the mixture with a spatula using upward strokes. The starch will make our meringue crispy on the outside and soft on the inside, like a soufflé, while the acid will perfectly balance the sweetness. Line a baking sheet with parchment paper. Then gently spread out that beautiful, glossy meringue. You can shape it however you like. Just make sure it's even so it bakes nicely. Don't rush this part. It's going to look amazing once it's done. First, I use a silicone spatula to evenly distribute the mixture over the entire surface. Now smooth it out with a spatula into an even layer. This helps it bake evenly and makes rolling it up so much easier later. Bake in a preheated oven at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes. Every oven is a little different, so feel free to adjust the time if needed. Take it out of the oven and let it cool for a couple of minutes, just until you can handle the pan. Cover the meringue with a fresh sheet of parchment paper. Place a cooling rack right on top. Then, carefully flip everything over in one smooth motion. Nice and steady. You've got this. While it's still warm, gently peel off the parchment. It comes off much easier now. Just go slowly to protect that airy base. Then let it cool completely while we prepare the cream. Pour cold, heavy cream into a bowl. Make sure it's well chilled so it whips up nicely. Add some powdered sugar, just enough for a light sweetness. Whip the cream and powdered sugar until you reach soft peaks. Just be careful not to overmix. We want it light and creamy. Rub lemon zest into the cream for an incredible citrus aroma. Now add the cold cream cheese to the bowl. Make sure it's nicely chilled so the cream stays smooth and stable. Gently mix it in with a mixer on medium speed. The mixture will become thick and hold its shape perfectly. At this stage, it is very important not to overmix the cream. Therefore, I carefully mix it with a spatula until it is perfectly smooth and glossy. Let's start assembling. Spread the delicate cream cheese onto the cooled meringue and carefully smooth it out with a spatula over the entire surface. Try to make the layer even so that the roll looks nice when cut. I should note right away that I don't use all of the cream. Leave a small amount in the bowl. We'll need it later for the final decoration of our dessert. Transfer the raspberry confit to a piping bag. This will ensure the filling is perfectly even. I take the raspberry confit out of the refrigerator. I remove the film and stir it a little. It has become even thicker while in the refrigerator. Now I'm just spooning the fruit filling into a piping bag. It'll make everything so much easier and neater. Twist the top of the piping bag nice and tight so nothing leaks out. Give it a gentle squeeze to push the filling down to the tip, and we're ready to go. Snip off the tip, just a small cut. Pipe the raspberry filling in neat lines all over the surface. Those bright berry ribbons are going to make the swirl inside the roll look absolutely beautiful when we slice it. Now carefully begin to roll up the roulade. Do this confidently, but very gently, using a sheet of parchment paper to help you. Don't worry if the meringue crust crackles slightly. This is its natural texture, which creates that appetizing look. Step by step, layer by layer, we hide the delicate citrus cream and juicy raspberries inside. Try to roll tightly so that the roll holds its shape well. If the meringue was baked correctly, the roll will roll up very easily. After rolling, wrap the roll in parchment paper and place it in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes to stabilize. I'm using a piping bag fitted with an open star tip. That's what gives us those beautiful textured swirls on top. Now I'm spooning the remaining citrus cream cheese into the piping bag. Make sure to press it down as you go so it's packed in nice and tight. We don't want any air pockets hiding inside. That way, when we start piping, the swirls will come out smooth, steady, and perfectly shaped. Take the chilled roll out of the fridge. Look how beautifully it holds its shape already. And carefully move it to a serving plate. Take a sharp knife and trim the ends on both sides. Nice, clean cuts. Look at that slice. You can see every layer. The crisp meringue, the creamy filling, and those bright raspberry swirls. Now it truly looks bakery-worthy. Pipe the cream on top in a simple spiral. That open star tip gives it such a pretty texture. Decorate however you like. Finish with a sprinkle of crunchy wafer crumbs on top. Just enough to add a little extra texture. Our meringue roll is completely ready. It turned out incredibly tender. It's time to serve it. And now for the best part. Let's cut the first slice. Hear that gentle crack as the meringue gives way? Crisp on the outside, soft and cloud-like inside. That tangy lemon cream with the bright raspberry filling is the perfect balance. Rich, fresh, and not too sweet. And that little crunch from the wafer crumbs? So good. Trust me, you have to try this one. If you have a box, this roll is perfect to take along when you're visiting friends. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.